You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Bada, bada boom, sold.
Huh?
Just sold my car on Carvana. Dropping it off and getting paid today.
Already?
What, you still haven't sold yours? You told me about it months ago.
Is
the offer good?
Oh, the offer's great.
Don't have another car yet?
I could trade it in for this car I love.
Come on, what are we waiting for?
You're right.
Let's go.
Whether you're looking to sell your car right now or just whenever feels right, go to Carvana.com and sell your car the convenient way. Terms and conditions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
By way of greeting this morning, I walk into Nothing Personal with David Sampson, and he dresses me down. I don't know the origins of that phrase. Why do people get dressed down? By saying to me, do you realize, Le Batard, that you guys did an entire 3-hour show yesterday on the opening of the hockey season, and you did not talk about the defending champion Florida Panthers, did not even mention it at any point. And then we do Nothing Personal. And when we were done with Nothing Personal, I look at David Sampson and I say, do you realize that we just did a show today after the opening of the NHL season and you didn't mention hockey at all? I was waiting for Roy Bellamy to get here to celebrate his reign as defending champion. And now, finally, Roy is here because hockey cannot be celebrated around here until Roy is a part of it.
Fantastic night last night, man. Watching that banner go up. Oh, I got my picture with the Stanley Cup yesterday. It was fantastic.
Everyone has had a picture with the Stanley Cup except me. I need to get it. My seats, I have great seats, season tickets 3 years running, right behind the goal that they scored twice on.
Look at me,
The banner was raised the exact opposite end of the arena, so I had a terrible view of the banner being raised. I saw it for like 10 seconds, and then it was gone. And I was just like, I hope it looks good because I can't see it.
Well, the most important thing is the opening 10 seconds that coming out of the box. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
How did you guys enjoy the presentation? I don't know if any of you saw it personally, the ring in the box that they were. I saw some video of it. We should put it up on the screen when we start the show. How did you guys feel about the presentation of all of that?
Watching their reactions when they opened that box, seeing that video. There was a video monitor in the ring box. And watching their reaction, seeing the ring, that was priceless.
One time I just want a player to be underwhelmed by it. Like they open the box and they're just like, meh.
Well, that would be Alexander Barkov. He's underwhelmed by everything. He doesn't celebrate or anything.
David Sampson is with us here today. You guys remember, have you guys seen the Marlins World Series ring that they got? It's the gaudiest, most ridiculously bejeweled thing that I have ever seen. It's half the size of David Sampson's hand.
I'm a small guy. It's not half the size of a player's hand.
Well, that makes sense given the former owner, who's an art dealer, really. So he should know about art. Of course it's going to be gaudy.
Every ring. Is there a ring that's not?
No, yours is especially gaudy. Even by the standards of ridiculous, bejeweled championship nonsense, the Marlins championship ring is as big as any I've ever seen.
David really ushered in an era of impracticality when it came to these rings, because since then everyone's like, well, we can't let the Marlins franchise have a bigger ring than us. It's a joke of a franchise. Can't allow that. So everyone's just trying to outsize it when you can't wear these things anymore.
The Heat ring is huge.
It's not as big as the Marlins ring.
It is.
You guys spent more on rings than you did on your outfield.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I am looking at the championship ring of David Sampson. I've never seen a ring that goes over the knuckle. Like that's not something that I've ever noticed before. How much did each of those rings cost? I don't know how many you guys had made. I don't know what they're worth.
We didn't give it to every season ticket holder, which the Panthers did, which is amazing. If you're a 30-year season ticket holder, you got a ring. So that's pretty cool. We didn't do that. So we did make a bunch of rings, but not like that. That's the A ring. I don't know if the Panthers had different levels of rings.
Were you able to bend your finger with that ring?
Did I hurt my finger?
Were you able to bend your...
No.
Did you hurt it?
It's over the knuckle.
You didn't answer my question. How much does each of those rings cost?
The reason why it's over my knuckle is that I have very small fingers.
You're not going to answer my question?
There is zero chance.
Okay, let me see if I just kick you out here right off of the top because you're here.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, asshole.
Oh, wow.
You guys are very emotional, I imagine, for Banner Night last night. You again kicked the holy hell out of Boston. You're kind of Boston's daddy now. Boston's got to say the Panthers are daddy.
Yeah.
The only Banner Night that I remember in the history of South Florida was the Heat winning the title with Shaquille O'Neal and Dwayne Wade and then losing at home by 40 to Luol Deng when they opened the season. I'm not used to teams just putting a bookmark in the season and continuing the next year with the same feel-good that they already gave you. How magical was that last night?
It was spectacular, man. I mean, we've been waiting 30 years for this thing. So to see that banner go up, pretty white one with a gold border on it, yeah, it was
I don't
beautiful.
know if I was expecting like Game 7 energy. I don't want to say I was underwhelmed, but like when the players came out, maybe because we had already cheered so much during the video, like I was like, why aren't we giving them more? I felt almost underwhelmed by the fans. I just think it was weird because it's been a long summer of celebration. So maybe we were like celebrated out, but maybe we were just like in awe. But I was expecting more energy from the fans.
Were you like Jessica when she drank so much that she passed out and then got up again and drank so much that you get tired and hungover because you've been celebrating? I got to be honest, the season kind of snuck up on me because they've been celebrating. The last one ended, the last one just ended minutes ago, it feels like, and they've been celebrating since with the Stanley Cup in the ocean over here in Finland. Luongo's eating spaghetti out of it.
Wait a second, the season already started?
Oh, for crying out. It started on Friday.
On Friday? What day is it today? Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
You kidding me?
I think the most interesting part of the actual game, though, was Boston going after Tkachuk. Because obviously in that series, Tkachuk and Pasternak had the infamous fight where, they're thinking that Tkachuk got a few extra shots in. And they just were like, we're going to have penalties. We're going after him. And he didn't give in to them because they wanted to, like, their bruisers went after him. And he basically was like, I'm not fighting you. I'll fight Pasternak, but you can keep getting penalties on me. I'm not fighting you.
Yeah, he'll fight Pasternak. That's usually the book on Tkachuk. And in that great Amazon series, he says, I want to be known as the least favorite guy to go up against. So he'll revel in that, but he's not going to fight their bruisers. No way. That's not a winning proposition. Pasta, he'll take that every day.
Professional irritant. Tkachuk is the kind of player that you love to have on your team and everybody else hates. But when he's on your side, he is somebody that just irritates everybody else.
I think last night was a little weird. Midway through the second period, too, when you realize, okay, we got yet another celebration out of the way, and then you realize, oh, this is just game one. Yeah. You're just 2 months removed from living and dying with every rush up and down the ice, with every face-off having a legacy on the line. In your most recent game, from being either champions or the team that blew the biggest lead in professional sports history. So it's going to take a while for us to ratchet that back up now that we've been there before.
Yeah, but they get off to a huge jump. I mean, it was 4-1 at the end of the first period. Like, they weren't playing around, man.
Let's not forget that the Panthers lost 3 out of 4 to end last season. So they really were coming out of a slump here, if you really think about it.
Okay.
You're saying basically that last night is the Bloody Mary that you have the morning after the hangover. You've had way too much the night before, and now you're just easing into the next day.
Hair of the dog. Yep. We needed some hair of the dog. See how this fourth line stuck out, and they did.
Oh, Greer, you're sexy. You're sexy, Greer.
Yeah, because you get to know these guys, and you become really emotionally invested in guys like Ryan Lomberg and Nick Cousins, guys that, I don't want to besmirch their careers, but they're journeymen. And you work yourself up into a frenzy while they're here, and they become icons. Like, how are we going to be able to replace this guy? And you realize you have a pretty good general manager.
What you guys really need is some manufactured adversity. And what I've seen so far this NHL preseason is everyone's picking Edmonton to win the Stanley Cup again. No one's giving the Panthers any credit or any chance of repeating. And what you need to do is wear that like a chip on your shoulder and be angry when the season starts. And instead, too complacent, too happy with just one.
Edmonton is pretty good, though.
Very good.
They really had a good offseason.
They're the favorite, correct? They're going to be the betting favorite.
Overwhelming favorite in terms of like prognosticators picking them.
Also coming off a heater.
Yeah, look, they won 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah,
that's true.
One of the things that I believe that you can get excited about here, because as I mentioned, the Shaquille O'Neal banner night that immediately started the next season with the season failing and flailing because Shaq was gone soon thereafter. We've had a couple of Marlins championships that the team gets traded away immediately after winning the championship. The fact that they signed Carter Verhaeghe for 8 years, that they're telling you right now, no, we're going to keep this core together and we're going to try and build what Tampa built with the Lightning. I just can't help but stop there on Tampa and Lightning because I've been Milton obsessed for the last couple of days. That we're going to do a hurricane relief donation today, hoping that you guys help us help preemptively what it is that's headed toward Tampa. But the Panthers are clearly trying to build what's already been built as a hockey state somehow that wins more than Canada does, because Carter Verhaeghe for 8 years, signing him up, that's not what we're used to. Stable management with the Panthers. You talked about the 30 years of season ticket holders. They've lived through nothing but 30 years of instability before now.
And the signing bonus is such that his base salary for the first year of the deal is $1 million. You're not used to this being a franchise that people in their primes would go and take a discount for. Some guys older in their careers in years previous would come down here, know that it's the back end of the retirement tour and just want to play golf with their off days. But to have guys like Verhaeghe and Forsling, guys that could really cash in an open market, realize that not only is this a great market to provide all those other things off the field and balance and a little bit more anonymity, but also this is a place where you could put your roots down and win. That's brand new for this franchise.
I saw that they are giving the ring to any season ticket holder member that's been with the team for 30 years. If you've been a 30-year season ticket holder, which is probably...
Did you not hear David Sampson already say that?
Oh, no, I didn't.
You did? What? You're the executive producer of the show. You're staring right at him. You know what? You can get out of here, too. Like, he just got done saying that. I don't understand how it is that you wouldn't just...
Dan, to be
We've
fair...
got a major penalty, 5 minutes, derailing.
I wouldn't... I don't know about that, but...
What do you mean you don't know about that?
There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Okay, can we tell people what the office is like today? There's so many children here. And we have to be very careful to not use curse words in front of them. Except I know for a fact Chris Cody's daughter has already heard every bad word. There's other children here his wife swears like a sailor. It's okay.
Oh, whoa.
Throwing Christy under the bus.
We have to be careful today. There's a lot of moving pieces in this office. School's out. No one in Broward or Miami's at school today or tomorrow. And so today's a little bit of Metal Arc daycare.
It makes it impossible to listen to your teammate who's speaking right in your face that just told you moments ago that they gave away rings to 30-year season ticket holders. He's the executive producer of the show, sitting in the seat. He can't listen.
He's like a fighter pilot. He's like David Blatt while in the seat of a fighter plane.
Exactly. How rare is it for that to give rings to your 30-year? I've not heard of that before. To somebody.
There must be 7 of them.
Is that?
No, there can't be that many.
Oh, I changed my mind then. Is that? Are you making up that?
No, there can't be many.
It can't be many when you consider everything.
I was in there. I was in the event, and there were a lot of people in there.
Yeah,
they
how
had
many?
Their fingers sized up and everything. It was, I don't know, maybe close to 150 probably.
150? That's pretty
For
impressive.
30 years?
Yeah.
How rare is it for a organization to value its most valued customers that way? Do you realize? I obviously know that if they've been with you for 30 years, they are now customers for life. But you buy people for eternity that way. You buy generations of fandom by doing something like that, where you're just valuing. Look, you're more of a fan than the rest of our fans. Everybody else here gathered around, and they came later than you. That is a huge, nice and symbolic way to value your most treasured fans.
Do we know whether it was the A ring?
I was going to say.
That's what I was about to
probably
ask.
A lower tier.
I've heard of
less precious metal.
I believe it was a replica.
I've heard of like baseball. I think the Cubs gave out like 10,000 replica rings when they won the World Series.
Yeah.
So did we.
Yeah.
Replica rings, that's a giveaway.
Lab-grown diamonds.
And then there's different levels.
They still sparkle.
The B ring is not actual diamonds. It's zirconia.
Cubic zirconia.
Cubic zirconia.
Oh, actually, the rings are the same as what the staff is getting.
Well, which
not,
is
not the players, but the staff.
It was a lower tier.
Why are we doing this?
Little lab-grown diamond won't hurt anybody. Come on.
Look. They do not deserve the guy who the same ring as the guy who played with a torn spleen. Like, it's okay to give him the same ring as the staff.
Honestly, though, if you paid this team money for 30 years, I say they're worth tier 1.
You should have a better ring.
What's the grace period? What if you're like 28 years? You're like, I've been here.
You're like, oh, come
28
on.
years.
I have a Billy Peltonen jersey.
You move here from Ontario like a month into the season, and you're like, come on.
Sorry, 29 years. Can't do it.
My child saw the Richard Zednick highlight. Come on.
Collis Grashdens.
Did I just hear Chris Cody, who did not serve 5 minutes, I might add, for not listening to the show? I
didn't hear that part either.
Did I hear him just allege that the fan who has been here for 30 years rooting for the Panthers deserves a better ring than Barkov?
30 years, dude. Woof. It was rough times.
I think he's right, honestly. They should get the most blood diamond that there is, according to Mike.
They should at least get this year free. You get the crappier ring, and you just get this next season completely free. Thank you for your 30 years.
This is not the general entitlement at Meadowlark. You get a thing that no other team gets, but you want it to be better. You think it should be better than the thing that they got.
I may have done the math wrong. Weren't they in the Stanley Cup in 1996?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
the season
weren't they
before.
in the Stanley Cup last year?
Yeah.
So they've had 3 Stanley Cups. That's once every 10 years.
3 appearances, yes.
Yeah.
That seems pretty good to me. You're acting as though that they've gone through the worst world for 30 years.
Well, they've been in the playoffs 15 times.
We sound
out
like
of
that
the
because we know
30.
what we're talking about. This franchise has been an embarrassment. You want to highlight, relatively 2 outliers in the history of the franchise. That's fine. They were terrible. They'd be in the conversation right there with the Marlins. It's like worst franchise in sports.
I was here for it, but you have to look over the 30-year period. I love that they're getting rewarded. I think it's an amazing thing, and Vinny Viola is unreal.
But they were bookends. Like, they came out hot to start their franchise, and then it was doldrums for essentially 22 years of just terrible hockey.
There was a point where in 13 years they made the playoffs once. Once!
In hockey! Like the
Baker's
Dolphins.
dozen.
Stugotz here. The most important things in my life are my wife, my children, and of course, their safety. That's why I've had Simply Safe Home Security in my house for 7 years now. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partnered with Simply Safe to offer listeners 50% off a system. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim it. Whether it's setting the alarms before we all go to bed or setting that alarm before we go on another vacation, Simply Safe gives me amazing peace of mind. Simply Safe provides faster response for better protection with Fast Protect monitoring and Live Guard protection. Protect your home with Simply Safe right now. Batard Show listeners can get 50% off any new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera with Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim this offer. It's for a limited time only, so be sure to order today. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Dan Le Batard.
Our Panther group chat, we're confident against the Lightning. This is a different team.
Yeah. You're a Panther group chat, though.
No, I think but dude, you're so wrong on that. We've been terrified of this team forever, and I think there's a different energy where the Panthers, they want the Lightning.
Stugotz.
I want T-shirts made for this Panther run. What could be this Panther run? Our Panther group chat, we're not afraid of the Lightning.
That's a tagline for World RAR 3.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Let's figure out what is the correct success rate here, because David would have you believe when you say, Mike, they're an embarrassment like the Marlins. David would say the Marlins won 2 titles, and it's really hard to win titles. And I don't think that David would look at the Marlins' history and say that that is a history of futility because they've won 2 titles. And when you phrase it the way that he just phrased it, which is 3 Stanley Cup appearances once every 10 years, my guess is on average most teams don't do that most franchises do not get to the Stanley Cup once every 10 years for the entirety of their existence.
Okay, let's do it this way. Over the course of their first 29 years, they had 1 Stanley Cup victory.
You can't do
They had 1 victory in the Stanley Cup over the course of 29 years. If we want to play that game, that sounds crappy.
They don't win playoff games. They'd get to the playoffs and not win a single game. They'd get to the playoffs and be swept.
They famously went over a decade between series wins in the postseason.
I think we can also just examine how the rest of the hockey world views the Florida Panthers and how players in free agency view the Florida Panthers, which is that they don't. Up until recently.
Except for now. We have not been able to, and this is the last holdout on this, because Mike and Chris and Roy are Panther fans and have been Panther fans for a long time and have endured all of that losing, but they have not been able to get Miami Tony, Dade County Tony, Hispanic Tony. They have not been able to lure the Hispanic Dade County fan who's all about basketball and football and baseball. And so Tony has to sit here in the middle of what is genuine revelry. We got a banner night in South Florida last night. Genuine joy. I saw the picture of Chris Cody staring in awe in the stands from the seats that he's got that are better than everyone else's and he's had for 3 years as a season ticket holder, staring at the Jumbotron in genuine childlike wonder and awe, and also just generally looking hungry and confused. In the middle.
Seriously, there's nothing in this one. I'm just staring
Just
up.
a dude looking up.
How am I hungry?
That's all I'm
How do
seeing.
you see hungry
I
there?
don't see hunger. Just see a dude
Hunger
looking
for
up.
another chip.
The funny thing is I was hungry. Damn it.
Oh.
Tony, you have not yet been lured in. You were not lured in. The way that last season ended is as memorable and as magical as any season has ever ended in South Florida, from going up 3-0 to being terrified to winning the last game in the last moments by a goal. That's as wonderful a season conclusion as there's ever been in South Florida.
I was super in on that Stanley Cup run. Like when they got to the Stanley Cup, remember I told you guys last year, hey, when they get to a certain point, I'm going to lock in. And then I watched games like 1, 3, 5, but I was locked in on Game 7 for sure because we had a lot of stuff riding on it. Me and the guys at Daily had a lot of things riding on that Game 7, by the way. You're lucky. You should be thanking me because I bet Oilers clearing the way for my jinx to reverse, and then the Panthers win the game.
You should get a raise.
I lost $100. I just bet. Yeah. I put $100 on the Oilers, and all of a sudden, Panthers win.
Is it locked in when you're watching every other game?
Thank you.
It is not. I think that is.
I had something to do that. The Game 2, Game 4, Game 6. I was doing things.
So you unlocked it.
Last night you were watching baseball because that was exciting. Yeah. Dodgers Pods. It's a good series, man.
We will get to baseball later in the show, but when it comes to best endings to a season in South Florida history, there's the Edgar Renteria Game 7. You got the bottom of the inning. You're finishing the season with a hit and a run. That's the best way a season has ever ended in South Florida, right? You don't often get the buzzer beater. You get a victory, but in terms of the tension continuing to escalate, is the way the Panther season ended in second place, because you went from you're up 3-0, it's tied 3-3, the nation's going to laugh at you, and then at the end you're barely breathing because it's a 1-goal game the entire time, and you're terrified throughout the third period.
Don't you have to say the Dolphins finishing their undefeated season?
I think he's just going for, I think what Dan is doing, just dramatic finishes, because Renteria hits that ball, Council crosses home, and boom, that is the final act of this entire series, where the final act of the Panthers Stanley Cup win is them freezing the puck for 13 seconds in the corner of the boards. And I don't really remember the final play of the perfect season Super Bowl, but I'm sure it was, just a clock management play.
I do remember the LeBron jumper, that late icing
that
jumper.
elbow jumper.
I mean, that was kind of a big moment.
Yeah,
the game was close.
So you're being micro. Like you're thinking about Jordan getting rid of Elo and hitting a series with
what I'm doing is obviously a winner-take-all game, a Game 7 that you win under any circumstances is an enormous game. And you rarely get the buzzer beater of Edgar Renteria has the hit, the game is over, the season is over. There's one team that's a winner forever. There's one team that's a loser forever. I'm going through all the University of Miami championships in my head. They lost one like that. Ohio State has one like that at their expense. But I can't remember something feeling quite like that Panther season ended. And because it ended at the end of a very long season, the hockey season legitimately snuck up on me because it got here. I'm not used to it getting here that fast.
Yeah, you've never had such a short off season. These last 2 years, the off seasons for hockey just fly by because generally your seasons have been over in April. That's a lot of time that postseason. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of stress that makes that time really slow down.
Alcohol.
Yeah, you age so much during the NHL postseason because of just intake.
Well, it's only 2 months between the end of the Stanley Cup final and the new season, so it's short already. Yeah. So having the Panthers actually win, like, I'm not ready to start this season yet.
No, you're ready, Roy. Come on, what are we talking about,
And
Roy?
it's not just the Panthers. Quite honestly, I was so happy. We had a full day of puck, a triple header that started at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time in Seattle. It was great. There were like, how many seats are in the Delta Center for hockey? However many that there are probably just 1,400 people that can actually watch the end-to-end game in Utah. That's going to be such a tricky place for teams to play. But it's amazing to have this sport back. And I would love for Tony to come over to the sport, but I don't think the sport can do much better than it has to win Tony over the last 2 years. It may just not be for him. That's cool.
I'm here.
No,
in June.
Tony, don't do it because they're not going to win the Stanley Cup Finals that many more times. Like you missed the chance. I think don't do it now.
I figure I was right on board. It was actually a lot of my doing, actually.
The one thing we know is that the Panthers are a less good-looking team because Brandon Montour is now in Seattle. He was playing there yesterday, and damn, he looks good in that jersey.
God, he's so good-looking.
Man. That's all I have on that.
Excellent.
Stenlund, too.
That is what you looked like.
Let's put that.
I did not look like Brandon Montour.
Let's put that back up on the screen again.
Let's see how hungry I
The
looked.
picture of Chris Cody looking up at the screen. That is how he looks longingly at Brandon Montour when
That's
he's
the whole crew. I see the people behind me, my friends, our season ticket. We got our whole crew. We get fist pumps going before the game.
Me watching my Hot Pocket in the microwave when I'm stoned.
No, that's what's his name at the what was the
Kawhi
spinning?
Leonard.
That was Kawhi Leonard at Clippers Media Day. Just
No,
what's his
that's
name?
the
Yeah.
Hot Pocket. He was spinning around like a Hot Pocket.
Let's get that for the audience, please. The Kawhi Leonard at Media Day going around spinning. Do you guys ever do this? Because I'm tempted by it, and I have done it a couple of times. I'm ashamed to admit. You guys would laugh at me if you've ever seen me do it. The spinning photograph thing that people take.
You haven't done that, Dan. I need to see Dan doing that.
The
Brian Kelly?
What is it? Yeah, but what is that thing called? It's a bit of
360 camera.
the 360 camera. That's a bit of a turntable situation that you stand on and you make crazy faces. What are you laughing
It's
at?
a tourist trap.
Understood.
On the streets of New York.
I
Is
love
that what
calling
you
it
do?
the Brian Kelly. It forever changed that 360 camera. Usually it was reserved for red carpets, and then Brian Kelly took the damn thing.
Can you guys put up on the screen, please, the ebullience, the general joy of Kawhi Leonard as he spins around?
He knows you don't have to keep eye contact, right?
Now, Photoshop Chris Cody looking up at that, and that's Chris watching his Hot Pocket in the microwave when he's stoned.
They will not regret putting that in front of a green screen.
There is no one in basketball funnier doing that because he gives off more general joylessness than Kawhi Leonard looking over his right shoulder and left shoulder as he spins around on the 360
Don't
camera.
you think his knee was hurting?
It always
That's why
is.
he looks so joyous.
He's now out 2 weeks.
I imagine they tell him before this, hey, make this your own. Like, really, do whatever you want here.
Own it. Own it.
I want to keep watching this. Can we just play this on a loop
I'm
for
good
the rest
with
of the
that.
day?
That's a great producing decision right there. That's good for a PIP.
The person
Now
behind
picture Dan doing it.
the person behind the camera is like, love it, Kawhi, love it. Yep, give me more. Nice, great.
So Dan, what's your move?
Oh, you point at the camera. You got to point.
Do you
gotta-
follow it?
Yes,
Like, go
I've
around
done
with
it a
it?
couple of times. Only a couple. Am I the one least likely in our group to do this sort of thing? To just give off joy at taking photographs?
Yes.
You got to do the Rizzler in that spot. Grab the chin, maybe.
I think you're the most likely because you're the only one who's ever done it.
Have you guys not done it? No one here
I've
has
done it. I've done it.
At weddings, usually. But it feels like you're just doing it at random places.
Highlight has it
or
sometimes.
wherever they have it.
Yeah,
I've done it at Highlight.
I think I'm the least likely in that whenever I see it, I'm like, no, thank you. Not for me. Won't do this.
At weddings, I have done it, wearing a feather boa and wacky glasses. Yes.
Classic.
Now it's starting to make more sense, you and your cosplaying.
I mean, this is what the thing is.
Yeah,
Do you
your
think
kinks,
this is
it's
an
just
industry that is succeeding? Do you think that the inventor of the 360 camera is living in a mansion somewhere because he or she came up with this wonderful idea?
Just on you.
Just for
Living on a mansion,
recruiting.
just on you.
Just for recruiting visits alone.
Mike, you missed it last week. Dan was super upset because he got the golden helmet of life, so he's not going to be able to dress up for 3 weeks at least.
I'm
it was
sorry.
The sadness behind his eyes, we could all tell back
What's
here.
your guys' go-to at a photo booth at a wedding? I usually go oversized glasses and then like the sign that says groom's crew or something like that. What do you guys usually go with?
It's very important if you know me, and this is going to be a true test of the love. Would I ever do that?
Would you ever do that?
Are you guys partners? That sounded weird.
Would you ever take a picture?
I think.
No,
I
go
think.
into the bucket. It's out of a bucket.
Yeah, he doesn't reach in.
all the
Germaphobe. Yeah, he's a germaphobe.
Do you realize that bat
Everybody's touched
mitzvahs,
it.
you've got all the kids you can't curse in front of. They're all doing the photos, and there's the feathers, there's the glasses.
Oversized glasses, that's
All of
a hit.
this
I've got
same
you with
stuff.
like the wipes, like wiping down the stuff and then taking part.
I will take the picture, and I'm the straight man in the photo.
TD, Tutty, in for 6. Touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I don't care how they score them. I want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the Sportsbook app and use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Prime Big Deal Days is here with exclusive savings just for Prime members. Woohoo! Involuntary deal squeals can happen, like the deal on travel mug squeal. The deal on a new blender squeal. Or the classic deal on electric toothbrushes squeal.
Oh, yeah! Woo!
Save big on electronics, fashion, and more this Prime Big Deal Days. On now.
Dan Batard.
Florida claws back from down 2-0 because they were getting their asses handed to them by Toronto to then get lit a fire underneath them by their head coach, Paul Maurice, who did the thing. Remember how the run was sparked last year?
Stugotz.
He called them a bunch of P's and B's. He did the thing again. Called them a bunch of P's and B's, and then, boom, 5 unanswered. You win the division.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
It didn't sound like you were the straight man the way that you talked about us as partners a moment ago, but what is the circumstance under which you would acknowledge my germophobia goes too far? It is much too extreme. I am being ridiculous here.
When you're on an airplane and something hits the tray and you're willing to eat it still.
The tray of an airplane, because it's used by many people, you will not. I'm asking you, what is the thing that you will absolutely not do that others would look at you and say, that's ridiculously extreme?
Look at this first-class traveler, too. That's a David Sampson problem. They ain't feeding us back there.
Coach?
They ain't feeding us back there.
The one that comes off the seat, yeah, but
that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
there to
they give
hold
you a
my
cookie
phone.
and you're like, all right, here you go, buddy.
I mean, your biscotti cookie's not hitting your tray?
Yeah, here's some bland cookie.
You can't touch
They throw it at your head back there. They just throw it at you.
He's in first class with Dan eating beans on the way home from Vegas, guys. Come
Yeah,
on.
you rich folks always eating your beans.
When did they stop giving real food on airplanes? You guys have heard me talk about once upon a time they served prime rib on airplanes, and it used to be a luxurious experience in the sky.
Dress up?
Depends on I think 9/11, like everything changed about air travel, and people kind of sees like, oh, we can't send these meals out there because there's silverware attached, and then they just used it like the pandemic did too. Oh, this is an opportunity for us to learn the lessons of what benefits us financially, and just make the overall experience less pleasurable for the consumer.
I don't consider myself all that mean, though maybe you do, but there's been something that's brand new that didn't exist throughout the beginning of my whole life, which is I get on a plane now, and about 20% of the time there's an announcement that there's an allergy on board and you can't eat something. So they won't
Never heard
serve.
it.
I don't know if any of you
That
have
happens to
ever
you
heard
all
that.
the time. Well, you fly private.
No,
that doesn't happen in commercial.
It clearly wouldn't happen.
What do you mean there's
private.
an allergy on the plane?
The flight attendant gets on and says, we have someone on the plane who's allergic to peanuts.
Yeah.
So we will not be serving peanuts. And if you brought peanuts or peanut butter, please leave it in your bag.
And this happens to you often?
I would say it happens 20% of flights I'm on.
Wow.
20%.
Delta, American.
I fly a decent amount. I've heard of it happening, but it's never happened to me.
So the question is, how do you react to that? Because I carry peanuts and I carry snacks like that. So I always ask, my first question is, what row are they in?
I don't think a peanut allergy is something that someone's going to break out in rash in 16C with because you've got peanuts in first
No,
class.
it can be.
my view.
Some people can have like extremely severe allergies, and if you open it in 16B and then it gets sucked up into the ventilation and it goes back to 22F, they can have a reaction. So they're overly cautious. But here's the thing: you might as well leave the peanuts in your backpack, because think of the chances that they have a reaction and then you have to get your flight diverted. That would be a tremendous pain in the ass just to eat one of the crappiest legumes that we have, the peanut.
It is a great point, and when I measure that difference, that's why I need to know the row they're in. Because if they're far away from me, then I'm still eating the peanuts.
Put it on the poll, please, at Batard Show. Is the peanut the crappiest legume we have? And can you look up for me, please? I don't believe that what you guys are saying is accurate, that a peanut allergy is so bad that someone in 16C, by eating a peanut, can give the allergy to someone who's in first class. I've never heard of such a thing. I'm also learning during this segment. I did not realize the cutthroat commercial cynicism of what Mike Ryan had said, which is that after 9/11, the airlines took that opportunity to not just take away our silverware, but to just cheapen across the board in a way that throws the biscotti cookies at you instead of giving you a proper meal wherever it is that you are. I hadn't even realized that that was the thing that they did. It feels a bit like a shell game on capitalism in which, wait a minute, you took terrorism and you decided to make my cookie crappier.
Yeah, that's what they did with the pandemic. Your hotel stay is less clean now. Yep. Enjoy.
Let us know if you need your shit cleaned. If not, we're not coming.
They're not biscottis, though. They're Biscoff cookies.
Okay. They don't own the Ravens?
Damn it, I cursed.
There was one rule today.
I didn't hear that part either.
Chris Cody makes a lot of...
That's not a curse word in my house, if you've heard my wife.
She curses like a sailor, I just heard while you were in the penalty box moments ago. Your daughter is wandering around here. We've got a few children. We've got a dog, correct? How many other? I was expecting fewer people today.
Here,
I was not expecting. I was expecting a skeletal crew today instead of this burgeoning.
But a plumpest crew today, Dan.
Overabundance of talkers.
You offered free hotel stays, free food, and bring the whole family. Why would you expect fewer people and not more people?
Well, because of Hurricane Milton. I thought people were very worried about traveling in South Florida today.
No, that's tomorrow.
I think the worry starts in the afternoon. So if we get out of here at a decent time, we should all be okay. But yes, you did offer people to bring their families and stay here, and it appears that some people have taken you up on that offer.
Yeah, I was expecting the weather to get bad this afternoon and into the evening, but yet my bowling league is still happening. So, I don't know. We're either going to forfeit tonight or drive through some rain.
Put on the screen for me, please, what we are now calling the Brian Kelly camera so that we can enjoy that as I tell the people that we're trying to raise some money here for victims of Hurricane Milton and global communities that are in need through World Central Kitchen. It is a great organization. They provide food to the front lines, despite what you may have heard about Asheville, because there is a lot of misinformation out there, some of it being spewed by our former president. There are more than 3,500 people on the ground in and around Asheville, and more than 2 million meals have been given out. Give what you can here. You can donate at Donate.wck.org/Lebitard. Donate at wck.org/Lebitard. This Brian Kelly thing will never not be funny, correct? This is something that no one has ever done this worse than he is doing it.
For the audio audience, one more time, donate.wck.org/Lebitard.
Yes, donate.wck.org/Lebitard. We'll keep giving that out over the course of the show.
When I see him, I could just now picture you doing the same thing that he's doing. Kind of, you know how...
But a lot taller.
Yeah, but like the little Yachty AI where you could put anybody in there, like doing the mic thing where he comes out to the crowd. Now my mind is just doing that, but just to you. So you're like doing this move. And the Lo Viste, like, back in the day, you guys remember that? Bonnie used to do Lo Viste. Brian Kelly brought it back.
Like the Uma Thurman dance?
I have it as Uma Thurman.
I don't know what that is called. Is that the Watusi back in the 50s? What is the name of the dance? What is the name of the dance from the 50s that does... Yes, it's the Pulp Fiction if you're doing it from the 90s.
Yeah, but I wasn't around in the 50s.
I know, but it was invented. It was invented as a dance at a sock hop in the 50s, and it's got a name, and I don't know what the name of... I know you guys are laughing at the Watusi. I don't know what the hell the Watusi is either, but the doing the two fingers around the eyes in a way that suggests, like Brian Kelly, that you see me because you're so cool that you can drag like...
That's an elf.
Dan, you nailed it. It's the Batusi.
Well, he said Watusi.
He said Watusi.
Oh, it's the butt. Damn it. God, man. I'm leaving.
Just leave.
You
He's
said
been
damn it, too.
unusually bad over the course of these 36 minutes. But can you get me, what the hell is the Batusi? I don't know what the Batusi is.
It appears that this is the Watusi, some combination of this and then like a little step, a little shoulder, and then a and then a
Look at that. You get it.
Get it.
That's the early gritty, Dan. Oh my God.
That's a gritty.
White people invented the gritty.
I still don't know the name of the dance that is the Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction.
That's the name.
There it is.
Batusi.
The Batusi.
Batusi.
It's performed making a horizontal V sign with one's index finger and middle fingers of both hands and drawing them across in front of the eyes.
If you're not watching what we're doing, it's how you kind of smear eye black on if you were a baseball player under your eyes is how you would do it.
With your fingers spread?
I mean, I'm just trying to help people visually. I'm not saying that that's exactly how you would do it, but you've got two fingers spread, and it's a ridiculous dance, and Brian Kelly shouldn't have done it. You guys have me doing that because there isn't a circumstance under which I can imagine myself doing that. Not even
little shimmy shake on the shoulders. The camera's going around like, oh, watch this one. Hey.
Watch this one. You have me gathering people around.
Yes, I do.
The whole wedding party.
Feathered boa.
Hey, everybody, gather around. Look what I'm doing. I'm shaking my shoulders, and I'm going to do the Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction.
Do you keep the photos? Put them on your fridge? What do you do with them?
You guys keep, yes, my wife does this, but you guys keep calling it the Uma Thurman, and I'm not sure why you're not calling it the John Travolta. I remember John Travolta doing that more than Uma Thurman doing it when they were dancing in the diner in Pulp Fiction.
Dan, took two to tango.
Uma.
In this case, two to Batusi.
Oprah. Uma.
What?
Oh, David Letterman. Yeah, that was he did that at the Oscars. He was trying to compare the two. Uma. Oprah?
Man,
he did that several times.
My day just got made.
Without Roy, that would have been rough.
Yeah, that would have been a
All you need is one.
You're so lucky.
I'm not sure it was a smooth landing either.
Showers quickly, David.
Roy just has the mind of someone who has watched and internalized every single clip that has ever been on television, including every commercial for the last 60 years. You're very lucky he was here today.
Yeah, it's a useless skill until it's useful.
David Sampson, I think, is the record holder around here of saying the thing that all of us just stare at silently in an audio medium.
Terrible.
Stugotz here. The most important things in my life are my wife, my children, and of course, their safety. That's why I've had Simply Safe Home Security in my house for 7 years now. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partnered with Simply Safe to offer listeners 50% off a system. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim it. Whether it's setting the alarms before we all go to bed or setting that alarm before we go on another vacation, Simply Safe gives me amazing peace of mind. Simply Safe provides faster response for better protection with Fast Protect monitoring and Live Guard protection. Protect your home with Simply Safe right now. Batard Show listeners can get 50% off any new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera with Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim this offer. It's for a limited time only, so be sure to order today. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Hey, it's intern John. Every football season, Safeway makes sure you're the MVP. Spend more time enjoying the game and get your groceries delivered in as soon as 30 minutes. Download the Safeway mobile app to shop for delivery or pickup, plus find hundreds of digital deals and earn rewards points for free grocery items or redeem for up to $1 per gallon on gas at Safeway or participating Exxon or mobile fuel stations. You know the deal. It's Safeway, fresh foods, local flavors.